What's up, guys? Coming to you today with a full slate of NBA Cup action here on Wednesday, December 10th. I'll give you my favorite picks on the side and over-under on each game and look at some player props. We're also going to look at the biggest NCAA basketball games on the slate. I'll give you my favorite underdog pick of the day and my massive lock. So slam that like button and subscribe to the channel to make sure you keep seeing these videos every single day. And let us know what you're thinking out there in the comments. I personally read and answer every comment I get. Check the pinned comment throughout the day to see our favorite picks, and you should definitely check back a couple of times throughout the day to see if there are any changes with industry news coming out and starters being confirmed. Yesterday, guys, we're doing okay so far. We were on the Heat, unfortunately, and it was an absolutely terrible game there for Miami from the second quarter on. The first quarter went great. Second quarter on, terrible. A really rough shooting night down the stretch, especially from Powell and Hero, and if they're not scoring, it's going to be a little bit rough for the Heat to keep pace with anybody. They eventually go 8 of 33 from long range. Not going to win a lot of games doing that. In the first quarter, it looked like we had exactly nailed it there, especially on Desmond Bane's under on field goals made, but after that terrible start, he went nuts down the stretch, led this team to a win, kind of left Paolo Banchero in the dust, and even when Banchero was out there, he was doing a good job getting assists to Desmond Bane, so that actually ended up being a good thing for us, in the end, but overall, we do break out that one. We still got Mitchell Robinson over 5.5 rebounds live there. They're in the third quarter of that Knicks game, and they're killing it right now, so our lock of the day is looking good there on the Knicks. We also cashed Illinois, minus 3.5. The Fighting Illini, a very, very good showing from them. Made it a little bit more interesting than we wanted at some different points, but eventually they get the 88-80 win. Illinois shot the ball very well from long range and got to the free throw line a ton. A solid conference win there for them over a pretty decent looking Ohio State squad. We did cash our dog of the day there. We had Paolo Banchero over 3.5 assists at plus 132. We were getting a little bit scared of, this is going to be a bad beat in this one because he was sitting on 3 assists for a very long time in this game. Finally got his 4th thanks to some insanely hot shooting there from Bane. So we do cash a nice plus 132. And also looking like the Knicks on the money line and the Knicks against the spread are in very, very good shape for our lock of the day. So if we can have Mitchell Robinson grab some more boards here down the stretch, we could be looking at a nice 4-2 day. Fingers crossed. We've got a very solid NBA Cup schedule here for Wednesday to break down. We've also got a bunch of big college basketball games. A lot of you let me know now in the comments that you love seeing this college basketball. So if you want to see more college basketball from me, continue to spam those comments with "we want college basketball" or something similar to that. Let me know what you want. I'm here to give the people what they want. So let's go ahead and dive in. We've got a pretty nice game here right off the bat. It could be a pretty interesting one in my opinion. We've got the Phoenix Suns here going on the road to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Suns come into this game fresh off a 108-105 win there in Minnesota, taking down the Timberwolves straight up. We were on the Suns. I believe they were plus 9.5 in that game, and they end up getting the straight up win. Very solid stuff out there. Dylan Brooks, only 18 points on 20 shots, but Mark Williams, a huge day from him. Grayson Allen struggled shooting the ball a little bit, but Colin Gillespie, man, that kid is putting up some very, very solid numbers, whether he's coming off the bench or in the starting lineup. Overall, we just liked the effort that we're seeing out of the Suns on a nightly basis. Say what you want about Dylan Brooks, and I've said lots of bad stuff about him over the course of my career. Don't really love his whole demeanor, don't really love the way he plays the game of basketball, but you cannot argue against the fact that it makes his teammates play harder, makes his whole team play harder on defense, brings a real intensity to the game, and that is sometimes a hard thing to come by. Now, in these cup games, will it be hard to come by? Maybe not, but definitely something to be mindful of. Now, a lot of interesting stuff going on here with the Suns injury report. It does appear they've now taken Dylan Brooks off the injury report, so he's going to be good to go. The real big question here is, will Devin Booker play? He's dealing with that groin injury. We haven't seen him play since back on December 1st. Played 10 minutes there against the Lakers. That's where he got hurt. He was cooking before he got hurt in that game, but the Suns eventually do win that game without him, and they've actually played pretty okay without him being in the lineup. He is officially questionable for this game. Really not a lot of great information on whether or not, what the chances are of him playing in this one. To be honest, I think it's more likely that he either doesn't play or isn't very effective, so we'll have to wait and see on that. Otherwise, though, the Suns are technically healthy, although is Dylan Brooks at 100% or not? Seems like he must be very close. So we're gonna advance here under the interpretation that he is, basically at 100%. So we'll see what they can do here. They're going on the road to take on the toughest team in the NBA, bar none. It's not even close. The Oklahoma City Thunder are 23-1 on the season. They're fresh off a 30-point beatdown win there at Utah. So, not a whole lot bad to say about that. The last time they played the Suns, though, it was a very close game, I will say. But, a couple beatdowns in a row recently. Now, in that 119-123 NBA Cup group play win there for the Thunder over the Suns, they won that game by 4 points. And, that was a game we obviously did see Devin Booker play, and he played pretty well. Dylan Brooks played well also. A very good day out there for the Suns. just a little bit too much from the Thunder. OKC shot 47% from 3 in that game. Did a good job getting to the free throw line. SGA shot 17 free throws in that game. Watching the first couple of NBA Cup games, it appears they're going to let them get away with a little bit more physicality, but it doesn't full on look like a playoff game type of environment to me. So we'll see. We did, there's some decent minutes given there from Alex Caruso. We did see J-Dub out there in that game, 29 minutes, 11 points. A pretty bad shooting night from him. So we'll see what the Thunder can do in this one. Obviously, this is a team that is a little bit dependent on getting to the foul line. They also don't have a crazy amount of size, but they make up for that with insane athleticism and just insane intensity on the defensive end. So we'll see. We'll see what they can get done in this one. Still will not have Hartenstein for this game. He's going to continue to be sidelined here for quite a while, I believe. Other than that, though, they are healthy and ready to go. No Isaiah Joe, but this team has so much depth. Like, they're going to absorb those, those guys not being out there pretty comfortably, you would think. Now, looking at the numbers here, guys, the Thunder are 14.5-point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 226.5. The Suns are 16-8 against the spread this season. They're 7-5 against the spread on the road. They're 13-11 to the under. The Thunder, they're 13-11 against the spread this year. They are 6-5 against the spread at home. They are 13-11 to the over. I don't have a big lean on the total in this game. I would maybe lean slightly towards the under, to be honest. But in terms of a side, I mean, and even looking at the record, the only loss the Suns had in NBA Cup play this year was to the Thunder, and it was in that very close game. The Thunder, they beat the Kings, the Jazz, the Timberwolves, and that very close game against the Suns. And the Timberwolves game and the Suns game are both very close. Guys, I'm going to be taking the Phoenix Suns here, getting 14.5 points. This could very likely be our dog of the day. I don't think they're going to win this one necessarily unless maybe Devin Booker comes back. He's secretly at 100% and they just go nuts out there and maybe have a chance down the stretch. But what I do think will happen is we're going to see kind of a rock fight of a game. I think we're going to see things be very physical and we're going to see things be very, very close. And while I do expect the Thunder to win, I think this game is going to be very, very competitive. In terms of some player props for this game, first up, I'll take Aaron Wiggins over 9.5 points in this one at -104. He's been over this number 4 of his last 5 games, even in a Cup game. I don't see the Thunder really messing with their rotations too much, and he's been consistently getting 20 minutes per game. The Suns' defense is good, but it's not going to be keying in on him. So if he, has even a decent shooting night, I think he could comfortably get to 10 points for us in this one. I do really like Mark Williams here, over 3.5 field goals made at -130. He's been over this number in all of his last 10 games, and even against a Thunder team that is good defensively, I don't think guys like Chet on the interior are going to be able to stop Mark Williams. He's got the size to move him out of the way at will, and I think he can comfortably get to 4 made field goals in this game, even if it doesn't go that well for the Suns in general. Also, on the Devin Booker front here, while I don't necessarily think he's going to play, I will take him under 29.5 points plus assists here at -112. If he plays in this game, I don't think he's going to have a very good time here against a Thunder team that's, amazing in terms of perimeter defense. And if he's not at 100% and does play, that's going to really just make this bet very, very solid value. So I will certainly be taking this one if it ends up being no action. It does end up being no action, but I do think this is a very good spot to fade Devin Booker. On the Sun side, once again, I'll take Grayson Allen under 15.5 points here at -112. He hasn't really looked like himself since his injury, and going against the Thunder's locked-in defense is not going to make for a good day. The Suns will really need his offense, but if I'm right about Booker not being ready to come back, that's just going to add a few more shots to his repertoire, but I don't necessarily think that's going to result in him scoring a ton more points against some of the best, the best defense in the NBA. Last but not least on this one, guys, I'll take Alex Caruso over 4.5 points here at -114. These are the kind of big-time games where we see Caruso put in his best and biggest performances. I fully expect his effort on both ends of the floor to be off the charts. He always finds a way to leave his mark on games. I think we'll see that here, and I definitely think we'll see him get at least 5 points in this game. I wouldn't be shocked if he scored 4 or maybe 6 points just on fast break, rip it and take it to the hoop kind of plays. So I definitely like Caruso's over here in terms of points. Hey guys, hop here and hit a quick shout out to the sponsor today and every day's video, and that is stumpthespread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and see the top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Right now, our premium members are getting daily NBA, NHL, UFC, NFL, college football, and college basketball picks. Looks like we are in good shape to cash our biggest play of the day. Over on the premium side there, we had the Knicks -4.5 as a 2-unit play. Got some hockey action cooking, a couple wins, 1 loss, a few games still going on. Unfortunately, only going 1 and 2 there on the college basketball side. Villanova really coming up pretty small in that game. UMBC playing a very, very close game, but just not quite getting the job done there at the end. So overall, looks like it's going to be a 1 and 2 day there. But if we can cash that bigger unit play there on the Knicks, we should be in pretty good shape to have a decent day over there on the premium side. And you definitely want to get over there and check out the premium picks at stumpthespread.com, guys. A ton of work from our entire team of experienced cappers goes into those picks on a daily basis, and they're taking a crazy amount of data points into consideration on every single solitary game. History against different teams, history against different specific players, history in different arenas, history in different cities, like all kinds of crazy analytics, all kinds of crazy trends. Lots of great information on every single pick. You get a big write-up explaining why we like the play that we like. So you definitely want to get in on that. And also, those picks are not usually going to match what you see from me here in the videos, as I'm not the premium handicapper over there at stumpthespread.com for sports like NFL, college football, hockey, any of that kind of stuff. You definitely need to be getting in on those premium picks so you're getting the best information you possibly can. And also, guys, over at stumpthespread.com, we've got lots of great free stuff, free resources for you to take advantage of. You always want to check the free picks tab every single day to see what kind of free picks we're putting out there with similar big write-ups to what you get on the premium side. You also want to go to that free email newsletter, guys. It's a fantastic resource. Every single day you'll get one email right to your inbox. It'll have at least 1 or 2 free picks in it. Parlays are often included in those emails. All kinds of great information on niche sports betting like golf, NASCAR, tennis, UFC is very, very often covered in those emails as well. So for you UFC bettors out there, it's a fantastic thing to be on that list. And it's very, very easy to sign up, guys. You just go to stumpthespread.com any way you want. You can click the link down in the description. You can type stumpthespread.com into your browser of choice. You click that little green login button at the top right hand corner. That'll prompt you to set up a free account. All they're going to ask you for is your name and your email address. That is it. You get one email straight to your inbox every single day with all that great information. So you definitely want to make sure you're taking advantage of that. Also, if you're a huge fan of what you're seeing from us here every single day, you can click that little join button right below the video to sign up for a YouTube channel membership. YouTube channel members get early access to all of our videos, get their name up on screen in every single video, but maybe most importantly, get access to our members only giveaways. We give away a Stump the Spread hoodie here every single solitary Monday to one random YouTube channel member. So you can buy yourself a chance for whatever it is in your country to sign up for a YouTube channel membership, but you can also just straight up buy a Stump the Spread hoodie at stumpthespread.com. Love giving those hoodies away to my YouTube channel members, but I want to make sure that everybody who wants one can definitely just make sure they get one, especially if you're trying to get a Stump the Spread hoodie by Christmas. I want you to be able to make that dream a reality, and it's very easy. Just go to stumpthespread.com, click on the little shop tab, and the hoodies are right there for sale. Right now, they are at a discounted rate and also have free shipping, so it's a fantastic time to take advantage of, being able to just buy a Stump the Spread hoodie. But big shout out to all my YouTube channel members, guys. We got to go ahead and dive back in now. We've got another NBA Cup game to look at. We've also got a bunch of college basketball games to look at as well. So let's go ahead and look at our other NBA Cup game. We're looking at the San Antonio Spurs here as they go on the road to take on the Los Angeles Lakers. The Spurs come into this game 16-7 on the year, so having a pretty good time in general. They've won 3 out of their last 4. They're coming off a very close win there in New Orleans, so a pretty close game there against the Pelicans. Maybe they got caught up in a little bit of a look-ahead spot. That's always a possibility here with an NBA Cup game looming, but they do eventually take care of business down the stretch, thanks mostly to the bench. Honestly, Kelly Olynyk played great. Keldon Johnson played great. Julian Champagnie played great. Sohan, not so much, but Dylan Harper, man, looks like the Spurs got another killer. He put up 22 points in his 26 minutes. A fantastic game. Also had 6 assists. Like, this kid, looking real good. Looking real good. And the Spurs are doing all this without Wembanyama being ready to go. That's really been the big story about what's going to be going on with the Spurs here coming into the NBA Cup here. Will Wemby be back for this game? Unfortunately, due to his calf issue, he is not going to be playing in this game. That sucks. I would obviously, you'd rather see him out there, but in some better injury news, Stephon Castle, he came back. He played really well, albeit in only 23 minutes there against New Orleans. But, that's his first action since November 16th. So he missed just over a month there. He's back, ready to go, and played great in that game. So that is a big boost for the Spurs. And he's somebody we'll be talking about when it comes time to talk about the props for this game. So other than Wemby, they are fully healthy for this game and ready to go. And they've been playing pretty well without him. Got to give him credit. Not a lot of teams can lose their best player and just keep right on rolling. But with how well De'Aaron Fox has played here down the stretch, definitely got to be taking notice of him. He's clearly, I mean, right now he might be the best player, honestly, on the Spurs, with Wemby, a kind of close second, and, obviously down the road will be the best player for sure. So we'll see what the Spurs can do here on the road. They do not have a super easy opponent here as they take on the Los Angeles Lakers, who are 17-6 on the season themselves. They're coming off a weirdly close win there over the 76ers. Luka came back and looked pretty good in that game. I mean, 31 points, 15 boards, 11 assists, only 9 of 24 from the field, so not the most efficient shooting night from him, but he was a plus 12. He played really well out there. Ayton played well. LeBron, 29 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. A great night out there from LeBron. Luka, playing well. LeBron playing well. All made up for Austin Reeves having a pretty terrible shooting night in his 39 minutes. Only scored 11 points and was 3 of 16 from the field. Not what you normally expect from him. Now, the main weakness of this Lakers team is their bench. The bench is not great. Vanderbilt, Jake LaRavia, although LaRavia has had his moments this year. Gabe Vincent didn't play well. Jackson Hayes didn't play well. And it was really the bench being so bad. That's why this was such a competitive game against, not exactly the toughest team out there, the Philadelphia 76ers. We were actually on the Lakers -4 in that game and ended up getting a push. That was a little bit irritating. Definitely thought that would be a win. But overall, the Lakers, do secure the win there, and they come into this game looking very, very healthy. Maxi Kleber, the only guy really on their injury report, dealing with that back issue, is officially questionable. It's already being confirmed that Marcus Smart will be available and will play in this game. We'll be talking about him when it comes time to talk about some props. Obviously, he's been dealing with that back issue, but I don't think it's really the end of the world for him. So overall, a very healthy Lakers team coming into this game, and that's why they're 4.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 235.5. The Spurs, they are 11-10-2 against the spread overall this season. They are 4-7-1 against the spread on the road. They are 13-10 to the over. The Lakers are 15-8 against the spread this year. They're 6-4 against the spread at home. They're 16-7 to the over this season. That's an NBA best to the over. So I do think there's some reason to potentially look at the over in this game, and looking at the the history against these two teams in their NBA Cup games this season. Spurs beat Houston, lost to Golden State, beat Portland, and won a 3-point game there over the Denver Nuggets. The Lakers, they beat Memphis, the Pelicans, the Clippers, and the Mavericks. So an extremely easy schedule there in the NBA Cup, I will say that. But that being said, the Lakers have played well, albeit against that weaker schedule. So the Lakers are 4.5-point favorites. I do think there's definitely a reason to look at the over here. I do think over 235.5 is reasonable, even with defenses playing a little bit harder because it's a cup game. I do think we'll see plenty of scoring in this game. In terms of a side, though, and this is going to be my main lean, I will take the Lakers -4.5. The Lakers on the money line or something like that could end up being our lock of the day, just because I think they're extremely likely to win this game straight up. Whether or not they cover those 4.5 points, I don't know, but this is a team with a lot of just, very, very solid talent, a lot of experience here. I don't think LeBron or Luka are going to be shook by playing in an NBA Cup game there at home. So definitely give me the Lakers to win this game. In terms of some props for this one, first up, I'll take Marcus Smart here. Over 4.5 points at -182. I know it's not a great price, but in his last 10 games, he's made it over this number every single time. I think we see that happen comfortably here against a Spurs team that's going to be locked in on stopping Luka, Reeves, and LeBron, and not so worried here about Marcus Smart getting a few buckets. So I do like him to score some points in this one. I'm keeping that whole back issue in my head a little bit, but I don't think that's going to be the end of the world here. He's going to play. I'm going to assume he's healthy enough to get us 5 points. On the Spurs side, I will certainly be taking De'Aaron Fox here over 26.5 points plus assists. The price tag at -124 is very reasonable. He's been over this number 9 of his last 10 games. Here against defenders like the Lakers are going to be putting up against him, I do expect him to have a very big night. He has the quickness to dominate by getting to the rim. He will always have the 3-point shot available to him. Whether or not he's knocking him down is not always guaranteed, but regardless, I think he's going to have a very, very productive night out there. On the Lakers side, and this one might be a bit of a stretch, but hear me out here. I kind of like Luka under 32.5 points. That's obviously a ton of points. He's rarely been under this number this season, but I think with more physical defense being allowed here in cup games, he might struggle to get to this number. Also, he doesn't need to be the whole offense here. Reeves is in a big bounce back spot. LeBron showed that he could be a big part of the offense with the way he's played in the last couple games. So I do think Luka could potentially relegate himself a little bit to more of a facilitator role at times, potentially, especially if he's not just like shooting the lights out. Obviously, we could see Luka get over this number in like a quarter and a half. That wouldn't be that out of the question. But I do think this is a reasonable spot to look to him to maybe have a slightly less high scoring of a game. On the Spurs side, I'll take Stephon Castle to score 16 plus points in this one at minus 107. He went over this number in very limited minutes against the Pelicans in his first game back from injury. With no Wemby for this cup game, they're going to need offense wherever they can get it. I think we can have some confidence in Castle to have a very good day in this one, and getting to 16 points isn't that crazy for him. He averages, I believe, 17.1 or something like that on the season. So I do think we can see Castle, especially if he gets his normal minutes load, get over this number. Now, guys, let's hop over and look at some of the biggest college basketball games out there on this December 10th slate. And first up, we're going to look at the Minnesota Golden Gophers as they go on the road here to take on the Purdue Boilermakers in a Big Ten showdown. Now, Minnesota hasn't had the smoothest sailing this year. They're 5-4 on the season. They are fresh off of a massive upset win. They took, well, maybe not massive, but a big upset win. They take down number 22 Indiana, 73-64. Now, that was that win snapped a 3-game losing streak. They lost to San Francisco, Stanford, and Santa Clara. So they weren't exactly killing it coming into this game, but they find a way. Now, they definitely benefited a little bit from the Hoosiers not having an amazing shooting night. They only shot 40% from the field against them. The free throw disparity was not massive. What happened was Minnesota just dominated the boards. They had 40 rebounds, and Indiana only had 25. Pretty crazy stuff there. They actually Minnesota lost the turnover battle substantially, but they do manage to come away with the win here. Now, not a whole lot of huge expectations for the Golden Gophers coming into the season. I don't think they're going to kill it out there in the Big Ten. I'm not loving what I've seen from them in, some step down games even. Like losing to San Francisco and Santa Clara is not a great look. Played an actual competitive game against Chicago State. They got blown out of the water, losing by 23 against Mizzou. Like, this is not a team that I've really loved this year. Obviously, Cade Tyson putting up 21.8 points per game. That's amazing. He's shooting over 50% from the field. All that's great. They are 299th in the nation in points per game. They're not a dominant defensive team. Their rebounding numbers aren't that crazy either. So we'll see what they can do here. Going on the road to play in an extremely hostile environment, taking on the number 6 Purdue Boilermakers. Now, Purdue, they are 8-1 on the season, and they're coming off their first loss of the year. They lost 81-58 against number 10 Iowa State. This team hasn't even been threatened this season, and then they lost against Iowa State. Pretty crazy stuff for a squad that had wins over Alabama, Memphis, Texas Tech, and Rutgers. Then they lose to Iowa State. That was a rough one. Purdue definitely finds themselves in a bit of a bounce-back spot. They just kind of got ran out of the gym. Iowa State shot 54% from the field and 48% from 3. Purdue shot more free throws but couldn't make any of them, only going 6 of 14 from the free throw line. They went 4 of 18 from 3. It was just a horrifyingly rough day there. They turned the ball over 15 times. This is not what we've grown accustomed to seeing from a very elite, very, very good Purdue Boilermakers team that was ranked number 1 in the nation. Now they're down to number 6 now. They've got to be pretty pissed about how things went. This isn't a squad that relies too much on any one guy, although obviously Braden Smith is a big part of whatever success they're going to find on a nightly basis. 13 points and almost 9 assists per game is nuts. Over the course of the year, they're 67th in the nation in points per game. They're 10th in assists per game. This is a well-oiled team. There is a well-oiled machine. They work. They've played together for a long time. They know what's up, and that's a big part of why they're 18.5-point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 142.5. Minnesota's only 3-6 against the spread. They are 6-3 to the under. Purdue's 4-5 against the spread. They are 6-3 to the under themselves. Now, both teams showing trends towards the under is a bit concerning for this play, and probably why this won't make the pinned comment, but I do think in a huge bounce-back situation, you want to take Purdue to absolutely blow out this Minnesota team. It's no look-ahead spot here for Purdue. They've got Marquette on deck. I don't think that's a big deal. Minnesota, they've got Texas Southern on deck, so it's not a look-ahead spot for either team, but I do think you want to take Purdue here at minus 18.5. Huge letdown spot for Minnesota. Huge bounce-back spot for Purdue. Give me the Boilermakers. Rolling along here, guys, we have the Charleston Cougars going on the road to take on the South Florida Bulls. Charleston comes in this game only 4-5 on the season. They've played a kind of middle-of-the-road schedule. I mean, it hasn't been terrible. They've played some real teams, but when your only wins are against Tusculum, South Carolina State, UMass, and Evansville, I have some question marks about what you're really doing as a team. I mean, they just lost 96-73 against Belmont, and now they got to go on the road to take on South Florida. I don't necessarily think that's a recipe for a lot of amazing things to happen. This squad does not have a legit leading scorer. They don't have any big superstar, anybody that can just here's the ball, go get us a bucket. Their rebounding numbers are pretty mediocre. Their assist numbers are horrible, and they haven't really been tested. South Florida might be the best team they're going to have played so far this year. It's been a pretty mediocre schedule there for Charleston. Now, South Florida, they come into this game 5-4 on the year. They've played some real competition, though, over the course of the season. They played Oklahoma State. They did lose that game, but it was close and high scoring. lost to VCU in a not as competitive game, beat Western Kentucky, did not stay close there against Colorado State, and their last time out got a 74-61 win over Utah State. Now, Utah State is not exactly a monster, don't get me wrong. They've shown some issues this year, clearly, after running through a very easy schedule, then they come up against South Florida and lose. But in that game, the Bulls played pretty well, shot 38% from three, had a good advantage there on the boards, did a good job getting to the free throw line, a really good job getting to the free throw line, actually. So we'll see what they can do. They are at home in this game. So the problem is they're 15.5 point favorites. We've got a total of 157.5. Charleston's only 3-5 against the spread. They're 5-3 to the under. South Florida, they're 4-5 against the spread and 5-4 to the over. I will lean a bit towards South Florida in this one, taking another favorite here. Charleston just has not shown me anything great. And I mean, South Florida's done some good stuff this year. I like their offensive numbers. They're 22nd in the nation offensively so far. Their defense isn't great, but that might not matter against Charleston. So go ahead and give me South Florida in this one. And it's a decent play. I do think there's some value to be had on this one. Next up, guys, we're looking through Western Kentucky Hilltoppers going on the road to take on the Marshall Thundering Herd. Now, Western Kentucky, they're 6-2 on the season. They're coming off back-to-back wins. They took down Wichita State and took down Evansville. Both those games were extremely close. That win over Evansville came 80-79. So literally as close as you can get. They haven't played a lot of big step-up competition, although they did face number 24 Vanderbilt. Lost that game by 5, but kept it very, very competitive. So got to give them some credit there. We'll see what they can do in this one. In that 80-79 win, putting up some pretty good offensive numbers, that's for sure. They shot 45% from three. I don't know how replicatable that is. They did a good job on the boards, had a little advantage there, did a decent job, but not a great job taking care of the ball. They got to the free throw line at a pretty reasonable pace and knocked down 74% from the line. That definitely helped. That was a big part of why they won this game. Obviously, a 1-point game, you knock down your free throws. That's a big, big deal. Now, over the course of the year, we've loved what we've seen from Teagan Moore. 19.6 points per game, shooting 50% from the field is not easy. They're also 53rd in the nation in rebounding, 61st in points per game. So there's a lot to recommend this, Hilltoppers team as they go on the road to take on the Marshall Thundering Herd. Now, Marshall, they're 5-4 on the season. They got up to a good, start to the year, beating UMass, Toledo, and Eldon, but then lost in a blowout against Virginia, beat Arkansas Pine Bluff, beat Mercyhurst, and then they've lost to Lipscomb, UNC Wilmington, and then lost by 7 at Ohio their last time out. Not Ohio State, guys, Ohio. And the Bobcats have not been amazing this year. So Marshall definitely has some question marks about them. Their shooting numbers from three looked terrible there against Ohio. They were, doing a good job on the boards, but they struggled to defend the perimeter. They fouled a good amount. They had 12 turnovers in that game. So, yeah, not exactly a monster performance there from Marshall. And over the course of the season, I haven't seen a lot to recommend them. Like, that defense is pretty bad. Their offense is not good enough to justify that bad defense. Their rebounding numbers are weak. I'm just not loving what I'm seeing from really anybody. I mean, even Wyatt Fricks, who's leading them in scoring, 14 points per game, 54% from the field. That's fine, but I don't think that's amazing. So looking at the numbers here, guys, Marshall's actually a 1-point favorite at home. We've got a total of 162.5. Western Kentucky is 5-2 against the spread this year. They're 4-3 to the over. Marshall's 4-5 against the spread. They are 5-4 to the under. Guys, give me Western Kentucky here, and I like it quite a bit. This could definitely make the pinned comment. I kind of feel like the wrong team is favored here. Even going on the road, I think the Hilltoppers are going to find a way to score enough here against a Marshall team that, doesn't play a ton of defense. I think that's going to get the Hilltoppers over the top. Rolling right along here, guys, we're looking at the New Mexico Lobos going on the road to take on the VCU Rams. New Mexico's off to a good start. They're 7-2 on the season. Now, I'm searching for amazing wins that they've had. I'm not finding a lot. They did take down Mississippi State. They played a real basketball game. Well, not a real great basketball game there against Nebraska, eventually losing 84-72, but they've won 4 in a row. Mississippi State, Alabama State, NM Highlands. I'm not even sure what team that is, actually. How do I not know that? The New Mexico Highlands Cowboys. Haven't heard of that one. Oh, maybe that's a non-Division I school. Okay, that makes sense. They also took down Santa Clara in a blowout their last time out, so at least they come into this one shooting the ball well. I mean, you put up 98 points, you shoot the ball, 40% from three, 60% from the field, and you make almost all your free throws. That's a very, very good day. So liking a lot of what we're seeing from the Lobos right now. Not a team that relies too much on one major leading scorer. They are, not a great rebounding team. They're putting up 82 points per game. That's fine. Jake Hall leading the way with 13.3 points per game. All that looks okay. We'll see what they can do here going on the road. They're taking on a VCU team that's 6-3 on the year. They've beaten Wagner, St. Peter's, they beat Coppin State, South Florida, Virginia Tech, and Samford over their last few games. They played not the most competitive game against Vanderbilt. They did knock off South Florida. They played a very close game there at NC State, back when NC State was 25th in the nation. So we'll see what they can do in this one. Obviously, a great performance there against a very mediocre Samford team, but they shot the ball pretty well. I mean, 43% from three, 12 of 28, nothing wrong with that. They only made 13 out of their 22 free throws, so that's concerning, but they absolutely dominated the boards in this game. The Rams did a great job on the glass. Now, will they be able to carry that over here against New Mexico? Lobos team that's definitely a step up in competition. Seems unlikely. I think they'll be much closer to even there on the glass. And this VCU team also doesn't really rely too much on any one major leading scorer. Their season-long numbers aren't necessarily incredible either. So looking at the numbers for this game, VCU, they're 9.5 or 9-point favorites. We got a total of 155.5. New Mexico is only 3-5 against the spread this year. They're 6-2 to the over. VCU is 6-3 against the spread this season. They're 5-4 to the under. Despite that trend of, VCU being pretty good against the spread, I'll take New Mexico here getting almost double-digit points. I think they can find a way to make this game a close one. I don't necessarily think they're going to win straight up or anything like that. I wouldn't take them on the money line, but I do think they find a way to keep this thing to comfortable single digits against VCU in a game they might even have their chances in. Rounding into the home stretch here, guys, we've got one of the biggest games of the night. We're looking at the Wisconsin Badgers going on the road to take on number 23 Nebraska. Now, Wisconsin 7-2 on the year. Their only two losses came against number 9 BYU and against a pretty solid TCU team. They lose that game by 11. They beat Northwestern, they beat Marquette, they beat Providence, and other than that, not a lot of marquee wins. So they really did kind of come up short in their two chances for, putting a big win on the board. But we'll see what they can do here in a Big Ten game against Nebraska, who's, also playing in their first Big Ten game. Wisconsin has done some good stuff. I mean, they've got a monster there in John Blackwell putting up 21 points per game. He's only shooting 40% from the field, but still, he's putting the ball in the basket. In that 20-point blowout win over Marquette, we liked a lot of what we saw from Wisconsin. They shot the ball really well from three. They made all their free throws. They did a really good job dominating the boards, but Marquette's not great this year, so got to take that into consideration. We'll see what Wisconsin can do, see what they've got in the tank for this one. I mean, obviously, they're a very talented offensive team. The rebounding numbers, though, are a little concerning, and their defense, it's actually been pretty good. So we'll see what they can do. They're on the road here to take on the undefeated 9-0, number 23 in the nation, Nebraska Cornhuskers. Now, Nebraska's historically been very good at home. Looking at who they've played this year, I mean, they played a crazy 105-99 game against Oklahoma and won that. They beat New Mexico by 12. They beat Kansas State by 1. That was a crazy game. They're coming off a 71-50 blowout win there over Creighton, though. So got to give them some credit for that. That helped them get into the top 25 here. And, I mean, a lot of positives from that game. Obviously, shot the ball well from three, did a good job on the boards, shot the ball kind of okay from the field in general. I mean, nobody went too insane there. I mean, Mast did have 21 points and shot 50% from the field, so that's not a bad day, but I do have a few question marks still about this Nebraska team, just based on who they've faced this year. But they have beaten everyone in front of them. I mean, Mast is leading the team with 18.1 points per game. They do play some very, very good defense. The rebounding numbers are okay. They're not amazing. Their offensive numbers are pretty good. So looking at the numbers for this game, the Cornhuskers are actually getting 1.5 points here at home. We've got a total of 158.5. Wisconsin's 5-4 against the spread. They're 7-2 to the over. Nebraska's 5-4 against the spread. They are 5-4 to the under. I'm going to be leaning here just slightly towards Nebraska at home. I do feel like this is going to be a very, very public spot. So this probably won't make the pinned comment unless I find some new information or something like that. But I'm going to be leaning towards Nebraska, but it's a small lean. I'm very excited to see what they do here at home against a pretty competent opponent. Last but not least here, guys, we're looking at the Lamar Cardinals going on the road to take on the San Diego State Aztecs. Lamar, they're 5-3 on the season. They're 0-1 already in the Southland, so gonna have a little bit of work ahead of them this year if they want to do anything too impressive. They've lost to TCU this year. They lost to Oakland. They just lost to Texas A&M Corpus Christi in a 57-49 rock fight. None of that does a whole lot to recommend Lamar to me, if I'm being honest. This team is 327th in the nation in offense. They play at a pretty slow pace. The rebounding numbers are good, don't get me wrong, but I mean, you can't lose and score 49 points and have me say a lot of good stuff about you. This squad doesn't really have a superstar. They're going to struggle to keep up here with the San Diego State Aztecs, who are off to a rough start themselves. They're 4-3 on the year. Going to have to be better than that if they want to find success out there in the Mountain West. They're fresh off a 77-66 win over Utah Valley, so congrats on that. They also beat Oregon, so that's a good look, but they lost by 40 against Michigan. They lost that 1-point game against Troy. definitely still a lot to figure out for this team. And they don't have a great leading score either. They're 130th in the nation in offense, 314th in rebounding, so not exactly the kind of team that I would think is going to be blowing out a lot of opponents. Like, how many teams have they beaten by 20 points this season? It looks like to me that number is potentially 1. They did blow out Long Beach State to open their year, but other than that, I don't think they've blown out any teams like that. They've been blown out. I don't think they've done any blowing out. So looking at the numbers, guys, San Diego State's 19.5-point favorites at home. We've got a total of 137.5. Lamar's 3-2-1 against the spread. They're 4-2 to the under. San Diego State, they are 3-4 against the spread. They are 4-3 to the under themselves. After this, guys, San Diego State has Air Force and then Arizona on deck. Lamar has UT Grand Rio Valley on deck. And because partially, maybe a little bit because of that look-ahead spot, and just because I don't think San Diego State blows teams out like that, I'll be leaning here towards Lamar getting 20 points nearly in this game. I think that's a reasonable spot, but I don't like it quite enough to put in the pinned comment over anything else we've talked about. Guys, that's all the games we have here for today. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets, and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Let me know in the comments any questions you have about today's slate. I get back to every single one of those comments that I possibly can. I appreciate everybody watching these videos. Make sure you're clicking the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com and get on that free email list. Check out the free picks over there, and definitely check out the premium picks, guys. I can feel a pretty hot run coming here in the not too distant future. We've been on the wrong side of some very, very unfortunate beats lately. I think we're going to be getting right back after it here very, very soon. So definitely, hop on there if you're feeling interested, if you're feeling froggy. But either way, we'll see you guys right back here tomorrow, same time, same place, for more sports betting action.